Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 10 of Wolves Wednesday. Pleasure to be here again. Nice to see a couple of familiar faces or familiar names. I don't know what you look like at all in the comments already. Thought I'd start 5 minutes early. I could see a couple of people waiting, and I thought perhaps I would give you a little bonus early start, perhaps, and see how things go. I was made aware the other day that Dazzling Dave is planning to start a live stream, as well as Finners. Hello, Marcus. Hello, Bottle of Bleach. They're going to be starting live streams. Finners is going to be on a Friday. Shout out to Finners. Go and check his channel out. He's the reason why I've got Jimenez in the thumbnail today. I think that's how his channel has managed to grow so massively in the recent weeks. So I thought I'd try and try a bit of it. But yeah, anyway, Dazzling Dave made a little bit of a dig at me. He said that he's going to start doing a live stream, but he's not going to do it weekly because what were the words he used? He said something like there's not that much to say every week. I think there is. And the way that this little community on my channel has built over the last few weeks doing this, and this is the 10th edition of it, there's people who, like spending an hour every week watching me and haven't been able to talk to me, and it's I don't know, I would like interacting with my subscribers, and hopefully you enjoy it as well. And I'll keep doing it every week until I get 0 people watching every week. But anyway, that's my little dig. Not my little dig. My little response to that dig from Dazzling Dave. And if he's watching, it's not. I didn't take it personally, but whatever, it's fine. Right then. So a couple of things in the chat. 2-0 down, Man City. Now, I tipped them at the beginning of the season to win the Champions League and to prioritise that over the Premier League. Excuse me. But that doesn't seem to be going very well. Although they are playing Lyon, aren't they, tonight? And by the looks of it, the City's ground is pretty empty. Right, Shiv, I'm going to show you something in a minute, which we'll be able to answer that question. I think I can remember the answer off the top of my head, but I'll come to that in a minute. Marcus says that Wolves are still not clinical enough. 75 shots and only 5 goals isn't good enough. You're absolutely right. Now, we'll come to that as well in a minute. I think we'll spend a few minutes talking about that. I haven't been watching the Champions League tonight. I did think about watching United perhaps as a little bit of a scouting mission for Saturday, but I've had some work to do and I've had this in mind, so I did think about watching Mark Goldbridge. If anybody's watched him, I think it's been quite funny. Yeah, that's true. We beat Young Boys. I didn't even think about that. Wolves AWE TV. Nice of you to join us. Have you taken that hoodie off? I love it. I only wear it for about an hour in the evening before I go to bed. A couple of predictions there for the United game on Saturday. We'll come to that later on in the video, near the end. But yeah, so Shiv's asked the question, when was the last time Wolves won 3 top-flight games consecutively? Now, I think, I could be wrong, but I think it was back in the 2010-11 season, at the very, very end of the season, where we needed to pick up all those points back to back. I think we definitely beat Albion and Sunderland, and I've got a feeling that we beat somebody else before we beat the Albion. Shiv, please correct me if I'm wrong, but that's my guess. But let me show you something. I haven't got this out for years and years and years. When I was when I was about 15 or younger than that, perhaps, I started this little book. Look, you see, it says 2007. So I was 16, I suppose, at the time. And this, I started putting in. It's a bit worn out now, but I just put in all the goals, all the scores, all the goals, and it was just shows how sad it was, really. But first game I had in here was August the 11th, 2007. Watford won. Sorry, Wolves won. Watford 2. Eubanks Blake, the top goal scorer that season. So let me just check if Shiv was right. I stopped doing this when I think it was when we were in the League One. I think I stopped doing it. Perhaps this would make an interesting video to go through these scores, perhaps. So 2010-11, I said, oh no, I was wrong. No, I thought that Wolves had won 3 in a row with that Albion and Sunderland game, but they drew to Birmingham, so that was wrong there. Shiv, I can't answer your question. I don't know when Wolves last won 3 games in a row in the Premier League. An awful long time ago. Anyway, yeah, Shiv, please let me know. 1980, is that right? I was going to say I don't remember it happening at all. The rate of quality keeps increasing at the same rate as it has been. Good evening, everyone. Wolverhampton Wanderers. Hello to all the people who are coming here now. Cav will be on the bench at the weekend and Adama will start. Is that just your intuition there, Wolves AE, or is that something that you've heard from the grapevine? If you'd all drop a like on the video as well now, let's get it up the charts, boys and girls. Hoping to get a few Mexicans in tonight. I don't know what time it is over there, but sort of 4 o'clock, is it? Mid-afternoon, something like that. Wolves haven't won away at Manchester United since 1980. Let's change that at the weekend. Absolutely. I've been teasing a lot of... There's a couple of people who are Wolves fans at work, and there's a few who've been able to, take the joke, and some people who are getting very agitated by it, which I found quite funny because, as a realistic Wolves fan, I think we're going up there for the first time, certainly in my lifetime, but the first time for a long, long time, where you're going up to a top team and you think, realistically, we'd be very lucky to get a point. But there is a possibility that we can do it. We've got a very, very good team now. We've shown against Manchester City, who are, in my eyes, a far better team than Man United, that we can hold them, albeit that was at home. And hopefully, we can take the sort of momentum that we've gained over the last 2 games against West Ham and Burnley into into the game on Saturday, and hope that they're a little bit jaded, perhaps, from this game tonight in Switzerland, or they've had a few defensive frailties earlier on this season, and perhaps we can expose them. I'm not sure. We haven't really spoken about the team yet, but I think possibly Lindelof might be playing on Saturday, and I'd be very, very happy with that. I'd be happy for Lindelof. He looks very error prone. United looking good tonight, apparently. So yes, they're. Well, I think it was always possible this season that they would start off the way that they did, and then come into the season a little bit more than once the games started going. I imagine Matic is suspended because he got sent off in the last game, didn't he? At Watford. So he won't be playing, which is good. Big Willie will have Lukaku in his back pocket. Does anyone know how to get game on Saturday? What do you mean there? People can never underestimate us because lots of people said we get smashed by City and we need to prove that we are Wolves and we're going places. Let's get behind the boys and push them on to win. Yeah, well, as I said, it's the first time that really that we can go to a place like Old Trafford and think that we can get a result out of it. It's very, very exciting. Are Man United classed as a top team nowadays? They finished in the top forward in this, so I suppose you kind of have to. Chris Smalling and Phil Jones. I mean, we were linked with Chris Smalling, weren't we, at the beginning of the season, and now his new haircut. Nice. Maybe he'll. Well, I think he's quite error prone as well. I think that I'm very looking forward to seeing how we get on against probably the weakest Man United defence in years. Knowing that, now they'll be amazing. But they've got De Gea in goal, one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Somebody just said that they were listening to me in Tenerife. That's amazing. Sitting in the heat. Neil Thomas, hope you're enjoying yourself there, mate. What's happened to Den Donker? I thought he was going to be in the first team, but he hasn't even come off the bench. He hasn't been on the bench yet, Marcus. So it is a strange one. I saw him playing at Sheffield Wednesday back in the League Cup, and I think that's what his appearances will be limited to at the moment. He's a little bit short of match fitness, I think was the official word when he first came in. And then he's... Well, you can't really drop any of that back three, and particularly now that they've kept 2 clean sheets out of the last 2 games. I think Ryan Bennett, it's his position that Den Donker prefers to play in. So you've got to wait for Bennett to make a mistake, and he's not doing that at the moment. So, yeah. Johnny's improved massively, created so many chances against Burnley and nearly got goals, says Brian. Yeah, I think the first couple of games that I saw him, particularly the Derby game in pre-season, I thought that he concerned me in that he didn't have a left foot getting down that left-hand side, but he was so good at linking up with Jota and sort of playing those 1-2s and then himself coming inside. He just needs to have a little bit more confidence, I'd say, in himself and just shoot, because there were a few times on Saturday where he'd got himself into a really good position and we thought, oh, yes, he's going to hit it here, bend it into the top corner, but didn't quite, I don't know, have the belief in himself. So, yeah. As Wolves fans, are we happy with 16th place, or are we now hoping for 10th or 11th? Well, this week, in my mind, and I know that another Wolves YouTube channel have done a video talking about how Wolves should be able to qualify for the Europa League this season. I think that's still quite ambitious, although I think that's the long-term goal. Whether or not, the squad, whether or not the squad is ready now to compete in Europe, that's a different question, because we would be able to buy players and improve the squad over the summer and increase the size. If you look at the team photo that was taken today, it's a very, very small squad. There seemed to be more backroom staff than there were players. But it's I don't think there's any reason why we couldn't finish within the top 10. I said at the beginning of the season, I know I am going to stick with it, that we could finish 8th, sort of second best of the rest, behind somebody like an Everton or a Leicester, but both of those have not been doing particularly well recently. If you look at the teams who are just above us, we've got United, Arsenal and Tottenham, and after 5 games, it's good that we haven't been at the top of the league and people have been getting carried away that much. We've been slowly building and being consistent in our performances and improving in that way. And yeah, I'm quietly confident that we could shock people and just be consistent, like Nuno's always said. And just, if we win, what we've had now, 5 games, if we win 2 out of every 5 games, that'll see us comfortably in the top half of the table, I think. So that's what we're hoping for anyway. I think I've missed quite a few comments there. Wolves v Napoli, Champions League. Costa and Adama to start. Have Jota to come on for 60 minutes for some fresh pace legs, deadly on attack. Again, I'm adamant that Traore is such a good... Well, Traore is changing the way he's playing. If you watch the game closely on Sunday, he looked to dribble and to take on players a bit less than usual. I felt there was a couple of moments where he had the ball at his feet, and we saw against West Ham and against Leicester and against Man City that he was just desperate to zoom on and beat players. But he looked a little bit more composed in that area the other day. So, yeah. I think we're definitely better than 17th. Definitely. Do I miss Cav? I haven't really had the chance to miss Cav. I don't think we're missing him in the team. Yeah, as Neil Lakai, is that you say? Neil Lakai? He loves Cav. What addition to the squad and bench of the team? Let's see. We've still got a massive player like that to come into the team. We've got a Belgian international to come into the team as well in Den Donker and add to the midfield or the defence and give us another option there. Freedom is desperate for another fix of Wolves after missing them for, what's it been? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. 3 days. Stoke the first season. Stoke the first and the following season. Think about playing in the European Cups, says Nick Muller. We need a 20 goal a season machine in Jan to win these games with ease, in my opinion. Where should we finish, boss? 8th is my prediction. I'm sticking with 8th. All season I will be saying 8th. Who gets off the bench when Donks and Cav come on? Now, I'm wondering whether... I don't know whether... I'll come back to that in a second. There's Ian Gordon stopped off at the M5 service station after the game, got chatting to some Cornwall. After the game, got chatting to Cornwall, Somerset. I live in Dorset. All of us old Wolves, we all agree this is the most exciting team in a long time. Obviously, for us, people of my age in their late 20s and teenagers, and maybe, I suppose, anybody under 50 really does not know a great Wolves team. The team of the 70s, I suppose, was the last big team for us that had moderate success, I suppose you would call it. 2 League Cups in that 74 and 80, that sort of decade. European competition in 72 and 80 as well. But then, of course, down. LA. Indeed. Hello. Wolves AWE TV. I'm 36. Best team I've ever seen since 1980. Do you think that Neves has been told not to shoot as often as he did last season? He seems to be passing it more. That's a good point. I can't remember many shots that he's had from that sort of distance. Neil Akai. It's difficult for me to read your name there, but he's 52 and he's the best team that he's seen. Best team since Dean Saunders, Doncaster Rovers. Hello there, Dr. Multiblock. Hope you're doing okay, mate. So back to Neves and his shooting from distance. It does seem as if he's been instructed to not do it so regularly. But if you think about it, last season, I don't think it was that regular that he did that. It seemed more often at the end of the season. Those games against Middlesbrough, I remember him having quite a few shots from distance, and against Derby, obviously, he had a couple, didn't he? One that led to a corner, and then one, that amazing volley. But yeah, I think he's had a little bit less space to work with this season outside of that box. I think full-backs are quicker to close him down. Centre-backs and defensive midfielders are quicker to close the ball down and stop him from getting that shot in. So, yeah, we'll see. People are talking about Sace as well in the comments then, whether or not he will be moving on. Has he been? I think he's been on the bench, hasn't he, for every game, but he doesn't come on. We seem to make changes to the front 3 rather than the back 7. So yeah, I don't know, but this is the problem that they're going to have is when they're becoming successful. There's going to be these players who believe they deserve to play, like Sace, but who's he going to come in for? And he must know that. He must know that he's not better than Neves and Moutinho. He must know that they've tried to play him at right centre-back, but Bennett is more consistent in that position. And yeah, I think we could definitely cash in on him and get a decent amount of money for him. But then if you look at if Neves and Moutinho does get an injury, we've got Den Donker to bring in. I'd say he's probably ahead of Sace in the pecking order now, purely because of the price tag. So it's a difficult moment, I think, for Sace, and hopefully he gets what he wants, I think. Do another running stats. Who moves the most? Somebody. I know that Doherty had the most touches. He passed to every single teammate as well on Sunday, which is very friendly of him, isn't he? He didn't leave anybody out. Yeah, Doherty is a very underrated player, and it did take me until the whole game where he was missing to realise what a massive part of the team he is, because when he links up with the winger so well, he gets in the right areas at the right time, moves really well. I think he's took a while to adapt. I think the first couple of games of the season he struggled, but he's improving. He's getting better, and I hope that I think he deserves an Ireland start. I think Martin O'Neill doesn't like him, so I don't know. I don't know how successful he'll be internationally. We'll have to wait and see. Neil James says, I think that we need a more clinical number 9 to finish 8th. 15 goals a season for number 9 is not enough, in my opinion. I think in the Premier League, 15 goals a season for 8th. Who finished 8th last season? Was it Leicester? Everton? Leicester. No. 8th was Everton, wasn't it? Who have they got? I don't think they had a player who scored 15 goals. I think you've got to share them out amongst the key players, and you've got to make sure that you win those moments and those battles, and that's what we're doing at the moment. I don't think you don't need a 15 goal a season man. Vinagre has a very, very bright future. I think he's probably the most exciting young player that we've got alongside Gibbs White. If we can build those two up together and build a team in 5 or 6 years around those two, I think we'll have an amazing team on our hands. Nick Muller makes a good point there. Success is not always measured on how many cups or leagues you win. 97% of the teams don't win things. You can still have a great team. You think about the classic example at the moment is Spurs. They've been consistent for the last 4 or 5 years, but they want nothing to show for it. What striker should we sign? I don't know. I know that Andre Silva scored a hat-trick on his debut for whoever he's gone to. Is it Valencia, maybe? I don't know. Genuinely, I think, and I can't see him signing because I can't see him leaving the club that he's at. But I think a perfect striker, perfect fit for us would be Jamie Vardy because of his pace, because of his clinical. You don't get many more clinical finishes than Jamie Vardy in the Premier League. Can you imagine him on a counter-attack with Traore and with Cav and Costa, then Jota behind him or alongside him? I think it's a decent shout. He's probably only got 1 or 2 good seasons left in him, but and that I don't think he'd fit the sort of Nuno mold, and I can't see him running back and working as hard as Bonatini and as Jimenez do. But I think we should sign Gary Medine. Yeah, but just an idea. That's my view of what we need. I think, but I don't think there's any sort of. Yeah, as Ryan Davies just said there, Mariga from Porto. I'm not going to pretend to know much about Portuguese football or European football, but I suppose as a Wolves fan, perhaps I should be watching a bit more of Porto nowadays, just to keep an eye on what's coming to us in the future. Yeah, all right, Rashford or Batshuayi, I suppose, those sort of players who are dangerous and fast. that's what we need. And somebody just said about pulling the trigger, and should we pull the trigger more? And yes, we should. There was a point last season, I think it was around about, was that a spell of games? That was like March time, where we had Villa and Leeds and Burton. And we just suddenly started shooting more, because in the January and the February, when we were just scraping through those 1-0s against Ipswich, and dropping points against Norwich, and that's, that sort of spell, where we just weren't pulling the trigger, we weren't shooting, we weren't making things happen. Because if you do have a shot from around the penalty spot, around the 18-yard box, it could take a deflection, or it could the keeper could parry it, or whatever. Things can happen when you shoot, so we'll see. Right, somebody's asking me, who do I think is going to be promoted from the Championship? Well, Leeds have started very, very well. But we've seen that before. Last season, in fact, they started very well. I don't think they were as long as this near the top of the table though. Last season, I think they sort of was already starting to fall away come the end of September. But I think with the manager they've got, Bielsa, sounds like he knows what he's doing. And if they can I think they've got the chance of finishing the top two. Then I think about Pulis and about his the way that he sets teams up and organises defences. They seem to keep grinding out these 1-0 wins. So they're certainly going to be up there. And I think it would be interesting as well to see Villa and Albion in the playoffs. But I don't want either of them to win the league. I don't think either of them will win the league. But it's very, very close everywhere, down from sort of like third down to 15th. I think there's about 3 points separating all of that. So it's very, very tight. Very tight. Who wouldn't want to see Jamie Vardy's misses on the terrace freedom? Bolton to win the league. Well, they've avoided their points deduction, haven't they? So they might be okay. Do you think the club will make more signings if we're 7th to 9th come January? I think, well, we would certainly become a more attractive prospect to players if they think that there's a chance of European football next year. And I think, players like Neves and other players like that, we'd be thinking about next season already. They'll be thinking about, there's a chance of European football. I don't know what I'm saying now. Yeah, similar to last season when we were first in the Championship. It's easier to sign players when you're doing well. If we were to be where we are now in January, we could certainly attract somebody of a very, very high caliber. But I don't know whether that's sort of in Nuno's thinking. I think he would like to keep the same squad more or less from the whole season. Maybe add one player on loan, something like that in January, like he did last year with Afobe. Yeah, I don't know. It's lovely to talk about the Championship. We've got out of the lower leagues. Remember this time last year, we were watching the 3-3 draw against Bristol City? Remember that? I feel the silence. It's such a blessing. Let's talk for a moment then about, just for a short moment, about Villa, about Albion, and about Blues. Are we still in that sort of camp of thinking, great, we're the only Midlands team, or is there part of you that's missing that bit of banter, that little bit of banter between the Midlands teams? Being the only Midlands team here now in the Premier League, there's no big rivalry to look forward to. Just looking, we could be in a couple of. In a month or so time, we could be playing a Black Country Derby. Would people want that? I would. I certainly would. At the moment, the way that we're playing and the team that we've got. Who's been relegated this season? Well, I think the Premier League, the bottom half of the Premier League, is on a par with the Championship, with the whole of the Championship. Burnley the other day were as good as somebody like Barnsley. There was no threat at our goal, bar that one free kick that flashed across the goal, which any team could make happen. They had no creativity. They had nothing. They were weak defensively. We were able to carve them apart so easily. So Burnley, I think, are in trouble. Huddersfield, I think, are just looking dire. And then before they came back on Monday, but I thought Brighton were in trouble, but they looked like they've got a bit of fight with them. Newcastle could be in trouble. It's a very close thing, and I think it will be a very close battle down the bottom because there are so many weak teams, so many poor teams down in that bottom end. How many goals do I think Jimenez will score this season? And Tommy03 says 18. I think that's been generous. Right, so he scored. I reckon about 12. Something like that. Just a little bit more than 10. If he can, I mean, he's missed a couple of absolute sitters as well. But as somebody mentioned earlier on about Jimenez, and something that I've been talking about this week now at work and whatever is the body shape at which our strikers approach the ball at. So if you imagine the ball coming in from the right-hand side, it happened, well, Jimenez's goal for one, Bonatini's miss, Doherty's miss. So that's 3 examples where the ball was coming from the right and the striker was trying to shoot with their right foot, so sort of not being able to get a good connection with the ball. Imagine the ball coming across here and then kicking the ball with your right foot in that direction, rather than if the ball's coming from the right, hitting it with your left foot, so you're stopping it and you're changing the direction of the ball, or moving your body so that you open it up a little bit more and be able to make a decent connection with it with your right foot and put it into the goal. But look, I think if we can just put that one little thing right, because it wasn't just or deliver better balls into the box, or if we are predominantly right-footed players, those balls into the box should be coming in from the left, or hit them with your left if the ball's coming in from the right. Shiv says Newcastle, Burnley, and Huddersfield to go down. Can I change my league prediction? What did you predict in the end? Joe Good, hello, mate. The ref of the weekend apparently was from Brum and a Villa fan. Dear. How is Patricio? Is there something wrong with him? Is there? Don't know. Can you say the Clown UK? He's been here before as well, hasn't it? Cardiff, of course, Cardiff. Cardiff will go down as well. Well done, Bottle of Bleach. Yes, they will. I forgot about Cardiff because that's how important they are in the Premier League. Can you see Nuno staying for the long haul, or do you think he could be tempted away? This question is asked almost every week, and I say the same thing every single time. There is no reason why Nuno would have come to Wolves in the Championship if he didn't believe that he could take them to the top. And by the top, I mean winning titles and winning and getting into European football. He's not going to leave now. You can just tell by the way that he talks. He's in this for a long time. He's not going to be somebody who in a year's time gets an offer from Manchester United or from Arsenal when they inevitably sack Emre, or from Liverpool, or from whoever. He's not going to just say, well, they've got Champions League football, I'll go there. If he stays with Wolves, and if Neves stays there, we're going to the top. And they all know the project. They all understand it. It's very, very exciting. But Nuno is the core part of that. Without Nuno, none of this could happen. And even thinking of this could happen. Imagine under Zenga or under Lambert. We may have fought for the playoffs last year under Lambert, but I don't think we'd have got anywhere near automatic promotion at any point. Right, we're on 11 likes at the moment, 65 people watching. Hello, everybody who's just joining the stream now. If you could just drop a like on the stream there, see if we can get that up to 20 likes in there. Oh, it's got up to 15 already. Let's see if we can get up to 25, shall we? 19, excellent. Beautiful stuff, guys. Lovely stuff. Let's get it up to 25 ASAP. It's up to 20 already. Lovely jubbly. Thank you, Joe Good, who's liked it. Share it as well on your social medias, boys and girls. Let's see. Could we possibly get 100 people watching the stream? That'd be superb. Right then. What away games am I going to? Well, I've been to all of them so far. I've been to Leicester. Well, even before that, I went to the pre-season games. I went to Stoke and to Derby and to I was in Stoke and Derby. I didn't go to abroad because that's too much money. So I've been to all of them so far. I've got tickets for United, got tickets for Crystal Palace. I think Brighton's the next game after that, or next away game. So I'll be going to that. I think almost all of the away games this season. I missed five games last season. I haven't missed any so far. Touch wood. So yeah. Somebody's saying do match day vlogs. Now, I'm very tempted to make a video about match day vlogs because I don't like them at all. But I understand why people do like them, because I know that there's lots of people, and there are people watching this now who live in a different country or don't get the chance to come to the games regularly, and they like seeing the atmosphere and they like seeing the reactions. But for me, it's not for me to do. I like going to the match to enjoy the atmosphere, and I might say something to my dad, but I don't want to sit there with my phone like that all through the game, film myself, because I don't think I'm that interesting, to be honest. So no, I'm not going to do match day vlogs. But what I might start doing, because I don't think anybody else, Finners, Dazzling Dave, they all do it, and it's up to them. I don't enjoy. I do watch all of them because I like them, but I don't. I wouldn't enjoy doing it myself. But what I am going to start doing again, I did it quite a bit last season, particularly the away games, just for people in different countries or for people who can't get to the games. Like on Saturday, I'll live stream the beginning of the teams coming out onto the pitch. Obviously, I'm not allowed to live stream the game because it would affect the channel. It would get taken down, perhaps. And we don't want that, do we, boys and girls? So we'll so perhaps I might live stream the beginning of the game, and after West Ham as well. I put a few clips up of all the chanting and stuff, and if people want to see more of that, that's fine. But I'm not going to do. I can't talk to camera in public because I'm not as confident as Finners or Dave or She-Wolf. So anyway, right then, you're starting on 11-4 Manchester United. Well, I think we all know it off by heart now. We get Patricio, Cody Bennett Bolly, Johnny, Daddy, Martinho, Neves, Jota, Costa, Jimenez. The only question mark for me at the moment is Jota. I don't think he's particularly confident at the moment. Somebody says we're bound to upset one of the bigger teams this season at some point. Do you think Saturday's a possibility? Definitely. I think when you're asking, is it a possibility? Yes, of course it's a possibility. Wolves go up there with as many, with as much a chance as any as getting 3 points or a point. But yeah, bottle of bleach just then Arsenal. I can see us getting goals against them. If Cardiff can score 2, we can certainly score a few. So yeah, I think away from home is a little bit harder, but we've seen Man United make some terrible defensive mistakes. But yeah, let's just come back to Jota for a second. John Pinson. Jota started slow last season as well, but got better as it went on. But if you remember, it was this weekend or the last weekend just gone where he scored those 2 goals against Forest, and that's when he sort of came of age. And then there was the Villa game mid-October where he was just amazing. And but there were so many occasions last year when he was through 1-on-1, or he looked like he was going to score. Like on Saturday when he ran through on goal, I had visions of the goal against Bolton in my head where he just dinked it over the keeper, or Leeds, I think it was. But he just, I don't know, the ball just is not sitting right for him at the moment, and hopefully he can fix that and get that right. But yeah, I don't know, he worries me a little bit. But Nuno has, I think he's been in charge of something like 51 or 52 now Wolves games, and Jota has played every single one of them. And I think it was the same at Porto. Jota played every single game there, so we'll see. On Sunday, first half in particular, I thought he was really good, and that he was the best that we've seen him in the Premier League so far. But then the second half, just missing that chance straight away. I watched him for a minute or so afterwards. His head slumped. He was shaking his head like this. He was angry with himself, and that affected him then for the rest of the game. He didn't look as good in the second half as he did in the first. Right, passing to Raul was the right option. Just needed a better pass. I think he was going to shoot himself. I've watched the chance a few times where he was running through, and the ball, he just sort of, I don't know. It was as if he was stopping it to shoot, I felt, but the ball sort of rolled behind him. I don't know. It didn't look good in real life. It didn't look good on the replay either. But didn't we start last season with missing a lot of chances? Everyone is going to get more clinical. Yeah, we did struggle at times, didn't we, last season to score goals, and it wasn't until November or October, end of September, we beat Burton 4-0. Then we beat Bolton and Leeds in that 1 week in November. It was it did take a while for us to get going. What's your biggest concern facing Man United? Lukaku and Cody? I think so. I think that's probably the biggest concern. We've seen Cody struggle against big strikers, but he's got better. And I think Bolly and Bennett have got better as well. We'll see. But yeah, bottle of bleach just said there. My main concern, United are going to park the bus. We're going to break it down. We're going to move the bus. Pogba is my main concern, says Wolves AWE. Yeah. they've all got these very, very good players, haven't they? All these other teams. Yeah. Troy will boulder the bus down. Right, we're on 29 likes, 64 people, and can we get this up to, what number should we go for? Let's go for 40. Can we get 40 likes on the stream? Boys and girls, if you haven't liked it, drop a like now. Let's get this number moving. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. I can't believe how quickly this hour has gone. 45 minutes on the stream already. Quite unbelievable. Neves to score a worldie. So good it makes Jose cry. Yes. They should also be concerned as Neves and Moutinho will do their thing. Thank you, Stud George. Cody going to get bullied. We've seen that a few times this season. Not this season. We've seen it a few times, but I think Cody's maturing. He's growing into his role and into the Premier League. I think if you think back to the first game of the season where Everton had something like 5 million Premier League appearances between the 11 that started, and we had 95. One of those was Matt Doherty. 94 were from Ryan Bennett. But they've grown into it now, all of them. We're getting better. Every single game. Callum Wilson, that's a good shout for a striker. I think, was it him and Leon Clark who were scoring loads of goals for Coventry, and we ended up signing Leon Clark, and Bournemouth signed Callum Wilson, and the rest is history. Favourite Wolves chant or song? I do like Nuno Had a Dream. I know it's very mainstream, but I do like that. I like Once Upon a Time There Was a Tavern as well. Those were the days, my friend. We need to sign Rui Patricio. We have. Where have you been? It's not July, mate. We've got him now. Little Jean versus Paul Pogba is going to be a spectacle of its own. Let me know in the chat there if you're going to the match on Saturday, and if you've been to Old Trafford before. Are you looking forward to that? To visiting Old Trafford, the Theatre of Dreams. Who's the unsung hero in the squad? I think possibly. Well, we've spoken about Doherty, but he's sort of getting the recognition now because Shearer keeps putting him in his team of the week. Robbie Savage is putting him in his team of the week. And so I don't think he's underrated. Possibly. Well, Ryan Bennett as well. You can't say he's underrated now because people are sort of appreciating how good he is. Bolly's watching. Not Bolly. Nuno's watching, is he? Who's the underrated? I don't know. Who do you? I'll throw it out there to you. If you can give me some sensible answers for once, boys and girls. Who is the most underrated member of this squad? Who's it? Johnny? We are Wolverhampton, the old gold and black, the pride of the Midlands. We are Nuno Santos pack. Got Fosun in control, and what a job they've done. We are in the Premier now. Let's have some fun. What's that the tune to? Johnny, Costa. Costa's getting better as well, isn't he? I like Costa. Where have the poor scratching sailors gone from outside Molyneux? Is that a major concern, Pete? I don't come from that way anymore. I used to come from down the south bank, the tunnel. Oh, LA. We do need an LA song. I like that song from Liverpool. Jota scares opposition. We've conquered all the chippies. Back into the Premier. Back where we should be. Got some Chinese owners. Half our players are Portuguese. Keep trying to get it going. I remember Nuno Had a Dream starting at Barnsley away in January. Was it the 13th of January, I believe, something like that. And it started with 2 or 3 blokes in the middle of the pitch, middle of the stand, chanting it just over and over again. And then by the time the game finished, there must have been a couple of hundred people around them that knew the song. And yeah, it was a lovely moment. Billy and Jack Hayward, Stan Cullis, Steve Bull, we will be the champions, and you know that we're the Wolves. Ali. If we beat Man United, will your view change on where we finish? It's difficult to tell because because similar to the Man City game, it's like a cup final. It's a one-off game. We've got no sort of pressure going onto it. The pressure's all on Man United because they, playing against a newly promoted team at home. Anything for us, a point or a win, would be out of this world. Whereas 3 points for Man United is what is expected. So if we can get that, if we can get something at United, we need to then back it up with the point, with games against Southampton on the Saturday after, Palace and Watford. If you don't back it up with points against those teams, it makes it completely worthless. So if we were to beat United, it would make me very confident about staying up, considering that we'd probably be a quarter of the way there after 6 games. That's, we can afford to drop, we can afford to lose quite a few games then because of the start that we would have had. We'd be on 11 points if we beat them. But then if we go and pick up a few more points, if we go on a little bit of a run and win 4 or 5 games in a row, then you start thinking, hang on, we could, make something happen here. So, but we also saw Burnley last year get into the top 4 in around about November or December time, and then they didn't win until the beginning of March. It was a very, very long time. So, yeah. Is Jota a handful or not? I don't see him live, as you may tell from my comments. Yes. Yes, Jota is a handful, but he just needs to add that final ball, a final killer ball or finishing touch to his work. Sell him Miranda for a used toothbrush. I think we can beat United, but would it be a bad thing to do so? No, I don't think it's ever bad to win a game. I think the worst thing that would happen is that all the Wolves fans would get carried away and thinking that we're going to win the league. But I think Wolves fans are well aware, and we've seen Man City play, and we all watched Man City play last season, how incredible they were. We won't win the league. There's no chance of that. But there's no reason why we couldn't make something happen and shock the league. If we were to finish, we could finish in the top 6 this season, being absolutely, we could finish 6th, possibly. I did hear Joe Hart's calling us the best promoted team that we've ever played. And then there was a discussion on Talk Sport, wasn't there, about are Wolves the best promoted team ever? And there was, I think, no was the most popular answer, 57%. Because they stated Nottingham Forest in the 90s, where they finished 3rd. They stated Ipswich in 99, 2000, where they finished 4th. I think got relegated the next season. Newcastle came up as well, 2010. I think they must have come up and then finished 6th or 7th. It's getting harder and harder. And say Wolves were to finish in the top 10 straight away, considering the length of time that we've been out of the Premier League as well. Newcastle sort of dropped down, came back up and did well. Forest had been down and then back up and did well. So I don't know, 6 years out, being down to League One, things like that. It's yeah. We'll win the Champions League and the Premier League, but lose to Wickham in the League Cup final on penalties. Hilarious. Drop a like as well if you're just coming new to the stream as well. Let's see if we can get that up to 40 likes. That'd be Lovely, thank you. Right, can we behave now, please, in the comments? Stop calling each other names. We have a third of the points we need. Sorry. We have a third of the points we had when we last were relegated after only 5 games. Yeah, what was it, 23? 23 points or something, 24 points we ended up going down with. It's rubbish. Could Bonatini hit a cow's backside with a banjo? I think he would struggle at the moment. But I feel really bad for him because he's really good. I like Bonatini, but he's just not having the rub of the green at the moment. Hopefully he'll do well. Not gonna lie, I think that Costa won't get played much when Cav is back. What makes you say that? All right, if people can't behave in the chat, I think there's people telling other people off. Unbelievable. What time are you on till? I'm going to do another 4 minutes. Another 4 minutes, up to an hour, and then I'll call it a day. So I do have work in the morning. So let's talk then about Saturday against Manchester United. And let's get some score predictions off, please, boys and girls, as Brian L3S has just said. So let's give me your prediction for the score and the goal scorers, please. I'm sure somebody must have got last week's right. 1-0 Jimenez. Somebody must have said that. Don't forget to put your scorers, please. Bottle of Bleach and Wolves AWE TV. You've had a 1-0 and a 2-1. You haven't even put the score yet. Bottle of Bleach. Sorry, to who? Bennett. In the 93rd minute or something. 2-1 Raul. Shiv says 2-0 Wolves, Jimenez and Jota. #optimism. 27-0 to us all, Norris. A bit of Spanish going on in the comments. Lovely. Love that. I don't know what you're saying. Alejandre. 2-3. Hat-trick Jimenez. Wolves 1, Man United 1. Connor Gordon says, get your score predictions off and drop a like. 3-0. Doesn't say to who. 2-0. Sace fan club. Sace with another Millwall worldie. Don't forget to subscribe as well. Heart hat trick. Right, 3-1. 3-1 Wolves. Bolly, Neves, Abanga, Jimenez, Lukaku, and Messi goal. Vida. What are you talking about? What is the Sace fan club anyway? Who knows? 2-1 Wolves. Give me your scores, please. John Robinson. 3-0 Wolves. Leo Bonatini hat-trick. Well, if we're going to predict a Wolves win on Saturday, I think we may as well predict something as outlandish as that as well. 1-0. Jose sent to the stands. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine Nuno as well? Nuno, of course, managed by Mourinho back in his playing days at Porto. Matthew Jevons says 2-1 Wolves. John Pinson 1-1. Darren Clements 1-0 to the Wolves. Got a nice ring to it. Freedom. I don't know what he's saying, but I'm going to put him on a timeout because he's being silly, I think. Wolves 3-1. Lukaku, Bolly, and Jimenez. That's not enough goals. It should be a great game of football. Actual football. Wolves have to win just so we can rub it in the Man United's face, mainly my sister-in-law. Traore, last minute 1-0. Seen that before. 6-0 to Burnley. Don't think Burnley are playing. 7-2. Nice. Drop a like as well. Last couple of seconds of this stream now. It's been a pleasure as always, ladies and gents. Enjoyed myself. I'll see you next Wednesday. It'll be after the Leicester League Cup game, of course. A bit weird that as Finners hasn't commented and then leave. Well, I'm not going to wait for Finners. If he's not here, if he's not watching, I'm very disappointed. I even put Raul Jimenez look in the thumbnail. Where is he? Where is Finners? Mr. Jimenez, eh? Where is he? Fantastic live feed. Thank you all, Zawi. Pleasure to do for you. Man United only beat Young Boys 3-0, so surely we could go to Saturday's match as favourites. We beat them 4-0. Didn't we? Yeah. I'll give Finners 5 more seconds to turn up if he doesn't come. You should all tweet him now. Go and tweet. Right, you just spoiled this. You are going to be hidden from the channel forever. You silly boy. Yeah, everybody go and bother Finners now and say, where were you for the Raul Jimenez Appreciation Society Club meeting? Right, pleasure as always. I'll see you next time. If you're going to Old Trafford, enjoy yourselves. Say hello if you see me. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And yeah, cheerio. Bye-bye.